Alright, everybody, we're live here on the Crooked Line Racing Hickory 200 Shootout. Racing for 25 smackaroos, $25 here tonight. Sponsored by FiveKings Motorsports. I'm in the booth by myself right now for the time being. Going to be joined by none other than Mr. Alex Coffey himself, driver of the number 7 machine. Going to pull him up here in just a second. Let's get him up in here. And we will explain why Mr. Coffey's not actually racing. But first of all, let's introduce him. Alex Coffey, you're in the booth. We're live and in living color right now, brother. You got a copy?
10-4, I got a copy.
There you hear. That's Alex Coffey. Now bear with us, folks. Alex has never been in the broadcast booth. He's done some interviews or whatnot with us. I made a mistake tonight. Went to remove another driver that's been a nuisance for this series, and his name also starts with Alex. And saw Coffee. His last name starts with a C as well. And I removed Coffee. So, sadly, Coffee's not able to race, but being the go-getter that he is, he said he would jump up into the broadcast booth and help me out. He was looking pretty quick and qualifying, so that's a tough break. Alex, first and foremost, I want to apologize. I'm sorry. Made a mistake. I'm an idiot, I know.
Oh, it's no problem. We'll just mark it as a mechanical failure or something.
Right? But yeah, so I went into it a little bit, Alex. These drivers out here, open qualifying tonight. That's something a little bit different what we normally do. And I'm all out of sorts. I cannot lie. Had some technical difficulties on my end trying to go live here tonight. Open qualifying is set to begin right now, as a matter of fact. There's a lot of cars out there, Alex, for open qualifying.
Yeah, if you could just share your screen, I'll have to
Oh
watch
yeah. Oh yeah, I guess you'd like to watch it with me, wouldn't you? Since I'm an idiot and kicked you out.
it.
Jeez, we'll figure it out eventually, I promise. So I'll go with that one right there. So you should be able to see the ticker and everything across the top, correct?
Yes, sir. I got you now.
Alright. And now, this is how me and Joe on Tuesday nights we call the races. I just watch off his screen. And little pro tip Joe taught me, Alex, was always call what's on his screen because that's what the fans are seeing. Because I had a bad habit of actually going back into iRacing and watching my screen. But then, of course, I'm calling action that they can't see. But we're learning as we go here, folks. Matter of fact, I need to jump on here real quick and cut the sound down a little bit. Thinking it's a little loud in y'all's ears, so I do apologize. Taking the top 24 qualifiers tonight, Alex. Right now, we're seeing... let's switch over to this view right here, and we'll see actual qualifiers that we got. Lo and behold, Thomas Axum up top of the board with a 13-2062. Got Mr. Jones sitting P2. There's a lot of names in here I don't even know. So that's gonna be rough on me tonight. Tanner Jones, shout out. Good first name. Kendrick Cryer sitting P3 with Jonathan Langham just posted a better lap. This open qualifying on this short track, it's sporadic, bro. There's just stuff happening everywhere.
Oh, and Chris Carroll takes a hit.
Yeah, there was a couple of hits right there, bro. A couple of them. We'll switch over here to the Mr. Dirt Meister himself. I know he's gonna like me saying that. Mr. Aiden Young said he's not very comfortable in these cars, Alex. So he's ran pretty well with us. He's raced with us a few times already and seems to run fairly well.
Yeah, he's always quick. I ain't never really came into no problems with him other than a few little net code incidents. But in practice, we were all. I know the top 8 was within a tenth, so this qualifying could be in anybody's hands.
Oh, see, so Alex was actually out there. Alex stayed out there for, I mean, shoot, 50 minutes or so. So he's going to provide great insight into what these drivers are going to be feeling tonight out here. What the car feel like? We'll go with the short run right now, Alex. So just going out there firing off. What that car feel like to you?
For the size of this track, that it's real fast. This is a fast track with these cars to be this short. And out of turn 4, I was having problems not slapping the wall every time. So I'm sure we'll see a few out of both turns hit the wall a few times tonight. But I don't know. I think everybody can keep them pretty clean. The track seems to got some rubber now on it.
So I switched over to the cockpit cam. I want to show you all. Well, of course, Chris Carroll's going to pull in, but as these drivers watch here as Thomas Axum comes around out of turn 3 and out of turn 4. Check that out right there. Look at that sun that comes up right there, and it doesn't look like a lot, but when you're in sim, you're trying to hit your marks because I mean, face it, on these short tracks, you got to have some type of gauge on when you're going to let off, and a lot of drivers they'll pick out something on the fence, say it's a sign, or they'll pick out a mark on the road. But with that sun blinding you the way it is, it does become fairly difficult to see. So that's going to be something to watch. Now, this is a transition race, meaning it's only going to be quote unquote sunny for about 30 minutes, 20 minutes or so, and then it's going to become nighttime. And when that nighttime hits, this track's going to get cooler, track surface is going to get cooler, and that means one thing, more grip. So you're going to start seeing some faster times as we go on.
Yeah, and I'm wondering going into turn 1 during practice, I know there was some shade over there and it was already kind of loose. I'm wondering if this sun has any effect going into turn 1 if it's kicking these cars out sideways or anything.
That
I've
is
noticed the pole is a little bit slower than practice, not too much, but I don't know. I wonder where they're losing the time at versus practice.
I I think it's a product of having so many people out there over and over and over where yes, our faster guys have rose to the top. The cream has rose to the top, but I don't think anybody's had a super clean track to say
Yep, and
really.
as you say that, Axum's back in the practice times area. So
Right. Yep. See,
yep.
anything we say in the commentary booth, Alex, welcome to the booth. Anything we say will be different. I mean, it's going to be
Oh
the
man.
exact opposite.
Okay, we'll try not to jinx any of these guys
Oh,
tonight.
it's going to happen. It's going to happen because we're about to do it right now. Axum, hit me with, or Axum, Coffee, hit me with it. Who's your pick for the race win tonight? If we go look at the grid, who do you got? Yeah,
It's gonna be a hard one. A few of these guys I ain't seen running. They're real quick. Consistency, I think, is gonna be key. And if you're
yep.
talking about that, I'm gonna go with Chris Carroll.
All right, Chris Carroll. I'm gonna take a little unknown. Don't really know much about him, but he has an awesome first name. I'm gonna take Tanner Jones on the number 22. Let's go to the grid real quick though, Alex. We got Mr. Axum, points champion from last tour modified season. Thomas Axum put at P1 with a 13.239. Starting outside row number 1, we got Chris Carroll. He's from Canada. I was gonna say he was our lone Canadian, but I see another fellow Canadian down there with him. Inside row number 2, we got Tanner Jones. Outside row number 2, Jonathan Langham. Round your P5 qualifiers, that's Dominic Chisholm. Chisholm's really fast. I've ran a lot of officials with him. Starting P6 tonight, Kendrick Cryer. 7th will be Nolan Quinton, and 8th is going to be Anthony Rennick. Number 9 is Ray Fata Tarso. I don't know. And then round out your top 10 qualifiers, it's going to be Aiden Young. Willie Evernham is going to be P11. Chance Sapp starting P12. As we go a little bit further down the list, we got Mr. Brad Ringer himself from JB Motorsports starting P13. Charles Buchanan, representing the entire state of New York, got the whole city and state on his back. He's starting P14. There's another Canadian, Bradley Yo-Yo, starting 15th in the number 35. James Barrett Jr., he's a fellow northerner, like a lot of these drivers in here. They were talking about a lot of modified tracks, such as Thompson, Stafford Motor Speedway. He's going to be starting P16. Casey Calhoun, Joshua Sexton, that's 17th and 18th. And as we go on down a little bit further, and I went too far, got Frank Barb starting P19. Mike Baello starting 20th. Keith Mack 21st. And Dennis Perez running out your 22nd qualifier. We'll take a peek over here at the weather real quick. Look at the race info. So, what you're seeing here, Hickory Motor Speedway. It's 77 degrees with the track temp at 82 degrees, Alex. And like I said earlier, as this night goes on, it's going to get cooler. Are you expecting these times to start picking up, or are you expecting them kind of slow down since these drivers do only have one extra set of tires in the pits?
I think tires will speed up times versus practice and qualifying when they're cool, but I think it'll have a worse effect on the tires as they go on because these cars are going to tighten up, I believe.
I noticed, okay, Mr. Axum took the last of first challenge, sponsored by FiveKings Motorsports. Us over here at FiveKings Motorsports put out a challenge. You win tonight's race, you get $25. You take the last of first challenge, you're gonna get $40. So, Axum's tried it. We got Tanner Jones, the field's in his hands. Gets a fairly decent launch. We're gonna see him fight for that bottom all night tonight. As you see, the field's trying to get single filed out. You got Chris Carroll almost getting hung out to dry. I'm not liking the camera angles we have here at this track. We got a Carroll going around. Yellow flag is on the speedway. So SDK has a tattletale box, Alex, and it's showing me Langham may have started this, but we'll have to see what we got here exactly. Oh yeah, no, he was just a victim of circumstance and just pile up, nowhere to go. That's what I wanted to talk about.
And Young goes first.
Yes, everybody.
Just close racing, just first lap.
You know,
trying to get your spot solidified. So
somebody I saw in that wreck right there, Chris Carroll, also, but our driver that took the first challenge for FiveKings Motorsports at 13, Thomas Axum. So, man, oh man, that's the risk you take right there.
I was just about to say it. That's the risk you take. So we'll see if they can get it back together, and if anybody can do it, we know those two can work their way back up. So
absolutely, they'll be looking to work together now, I would think, and try to pick off people together versus trying to get a single file or double file and racing each other, because then you always know if you're double file with another driver, you're always going to be a little bit slower.
Yeah, and I didn't get too much time in practice running beside each other to see if the top lane works or the bottom works when it comes to passing, so I'm interested to see how that's going to work out for them.
Right, it is. That's going to be when we did a super late model race here, Coffee, it was the low lane was where you had to be. Now you could be a nuisance on the outside lane, meaning you could pinch that driver down and, I mean, really just be a nuisance to that driver. But that low lane seemed like that was the only way around the track, basically.
Yeah, it's always one thing to get outside of somebody, but to get that extra edge to complete the whole pass all the way by them on the outside is a different.
Right. Exactly. So, field's going to be in Dominique Chisholm's hand. Actually got by Tanner Jones that time. And if I'm not mistaken, when we do these races like this, it's hard for me to call the action perfectly because I don't know a lot of these drivers out here. I don't know their paint scheme. So, like on Tuesday nights, Coffee, for example, I can see your car and say, oh, that's Coffee. I know who that is. But I can't remember. Was it the 87 that spun Chris Carroll right then? Do you remember by chance?
I'm not sure. I believe it may have been.
I thought it was a yellow car on the front end, but
I think they were side by side, and Chris Carroll was on the outside. I think it was just a little rival.
well, we're back to green flag racing. Field's in the hands of the number 87. Gets a great jump, but that 22 trying to fight on the outside. But there you see that 22 bobbles a little bit, and you lose all that time. But drives it off a cliff down in there with the 38, putting his nose in there. Want to throw his name into the hat. That's another thing, guys, as you see right there, these drivers, they're going to elect to go down that apron in 1 and 2 a lot. It helps the car rotate. But these modifieds, look at them. They are slammed to the ground. So you got to be mindful of that because you are going to bottom that chassis out. And like I mentioned it all the time on Tuesday nights, you're playing Russian roulette at that point. You don't know how the car is exactly going to react. It might get really tight, might get really loose. So that's a storyline to watch here tonight as we'll go further on back in the pack. I want to put the view on Thomas Axum, put it on the poll for the ones that have just now tuning in. He was our fastest qualifier of the night. Decided to take the first challenge, try to win a little bit of extra money. We got a caution on the speedway again. It's looking like Charles Buchanan has went around.
Yeah, and Axum working up pretty well so far.
As we see here from the tattletale box. Oh, driver just, what did I just say a while ago, Axum? Gets on that apron. Yep. I called you Axum again. I don't know why I call you Axum because I don't understand that. I say it even when we're racing. I call you Axum. I do it all the time.
Just the A and the X.
I guess, bro. I'm not sure, man. But yeah, Coffee right there. I literally just said that apron. I mean, you're playing Russian roulette down there.
Definitely, just a victim with that apron. When you get down there, it could snap before you even have time to think about saving it.
Right. by the time you even realize what's going on and what's happening, you're already looking at the inside wall.
Yep, but he did a good job there, not to keep it out of anything or not to hit anyone else. So
I
round of
hope
applause to him for keeping it clean.
I hope I had the lobby set up correctly and only have one fast repair. I'm not sure. I'm starting to second guess myself right now. I can check real quick. Uh, yes, one fast repair night. Okay, yeah. So these drivers do have one fast repair. They basically have, for the ones that play golf out there, they got one mulligan, one do-over. You get in a
There you
wreck,
go.
you destroy your car, go down pit lane, and luckily since it's a sim and not real life, you get a make good chance to go out there, and then you're no longer with house money. Then you're betting with your own money. You gotta be careful then.
And I'm always a fan of having one fast
I
repair,
am
no more,
too.
no less.
I am
I'm
too.
in a cup league that has zero, and I've been a victim a few
It's
times
tough.
this season. So
It's tough. I mean,
it happens, but it definitely is disappointing.
so we've had some pretty heated admin meetings about it, coffee behind the scenes, and even out front in the public with drivers. There's a lot of drivers in here that hate the fast repair, and my argument is because their argument is always, well, you don't get one in real life, and I always rebuttal that with, well, you don't get net code in real life either, and you don't get people driving over their heads because they're sitting in their bedroom in their underwear driving versus sitting in a real car, you know?
Very true, very true. And I know a lot of people in here. I don't know who all has raced in real life, but a wreck in real life, it hurts. So it comes with consequences that a wreck on track
Exactly,
doesn't.
exactly. You said it perfect right there. It's lights go off on a pace car. Consequence. There's a consequence if you wreck in real life. Not as much so here. And they stack up big time. That outside lane stacked them up. But that 38 got a great jump because he got shoved out from the fourth place starter that time.
Yeah, got a launch from somebody behind him, blinks out a little there, but now he's battling on that outside. He's giving him a run up there, so we'll see how it turns out for him.
So, Coffee, is Kelly watching? I think that's your mom, correct? She's a fairly big fan of yours. That's your mom, right?
Yeah, that's my mom.
Awesome, awesome. I see her.
Oh, and the 38's up on the
Ooh,
wall.
climbed up on the wall a little bit there.
But
As
yeah, she hops in here every week to support me and watch.
yeah, so I tell her every week. She don't like. I was like, you don't understand what that means for us. Whenever we know we have somebody watching us, that pushes us that much harder. As these
Oh
guys
yeah,
are door to door battling here. That's not gonna. Those drivers can't do that for long. I mean, it's such a
yeah. It
small
looks like
track.
the 22 lets him on through before the fourth plate car catches up to him. So
And we got Mr. Willie Evernham, folks. That last name looks familiar. That's because it is familiar. That's Ray Evernham's nephew right there. Ray Evernham is one of the masterminds, one of the founders of the SRX or not NASCAR, but SRX series. It's pretty much a rival series, I guess, to NASCAR, and they had some pretty entertaining races. And they visited a lot of these short tracks. We got another
got
driver
a
going
car running
around
on.
in the back. I think that's Mike Belillo, and just
Oh, and a
collects Frank
hard hit.
Barb. Chris Carroll's in there. Oh
Oh,
my
somebody's
goodness gracious. What is going on here? You know, that's one thing about these new tracks, Coffee. These new tracks, they have glitches like that. So I remember, wait, let me go back a little bit further. So it's actually, Tattletale Box is showing me Charles Buchanan wrecked first. So let's see if he may have been the initial cause of the wreck. But when North Wilkesboro first got added onto the sim, you used to be able to. There was a tire right next to pit road, and you would hit that tire, and it would just shoot you like a rocket straight up in the air. And that's why
Yeah.
the wreck's in front of them. So we'll see if we can find the wreck here.
Oh, and he just gets in the back of the 21 and sends him into the tire barriers. But it was a wreck going on when they got there, so we'll
Right.
see who that was.
Sorry, folks, but we're just trying to find it here. Tattletale Box is lit up like crazy. 51 gets put around. Oh man, that was a tough lick for Frank Barb. And then you had NASA.
Just pile in. Hey, like I said, this is a fast track to be this size. So
Right, and
brakes on these cars, I don't think there was much those could do behind.
right. So normally I'm up in the booth and I feel like I gotta catch myself sometimes because I'm like, man, why'd he not stop? But on a track like this, for one, this track's not very wide. So when the car does hit the outside wall, where are they coming? They're coming right back to the racing line. And
Yep,
like you
and
said,
vice versa.
exactly. And like you said, it's such a fast track that you can jump on them binders as soon as you see a hint of a problem, and you're still before you know it, boom, you're in it.
Yep. So luckily, that's where a fast repair is for. just like we were talking about.
Yeah, oh, Chris Carroll was taking her down pit road right here. I didn't see him stop. So,
A little damage on that front
oh,
bumper.
he's
But
going to get a black flag right there for an unsafe pit exit. If I had to guess, there, Coffee. He got out on that track.
that's very unfortunate.
I,
I can tell you that this track is very narrow coming off pit road.
it's
Very easy to
yes,
do. When I was first
very,
testing
very
it, I did
unforgiving.
it back to back a few times. So
It took me like 3 times before I realized, okay, I gotta mow the grass right here, basically, so I don't get it.
yeah,
It is. It's very, 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 very narrow right there.
but that's the thing that new tracks added. I think it's a more level playing field. Everybody trying to learn the track rather than
Mm-hmm.
some people just got it. But we're going back green here, so
Green flag is out. They get spaced out a little bit more up towards the front, and I did see that pink car, that number 13, slowly but surely making his way back up to the front, but field's in the hand of the 87 Dominique Chisholm. I've raced with him so many times in open modified races and officials, and he always says he's going to come out and race with us on Crooked Line, and then I go weeks without hearing from him, race with him again. He says, oh yeah, I meant to come out, and he just never comes out. So Dominique, if you watch this back, we got a series for you to come try to run, see if you can test your strengths against the Axums, the Carrolls, the Coffees of the world, because I promise you, this is one of the most competitive modified series there is out there.
yeah. Well, he showed up tonight and he's showing out tonight. So back running. Who is this right here? I believe that is Barrett. Is that his name?
I think we're watching Barrett right now. Yes, that's Barrett.
Got
See?
Axum applying some pressure on his
Right.
rear bumper.
I want to jump on cockpit with Axum real quick as we get a view of this driver and Coffee. I have heard through the grapevines that you'll have 4 new racers out there with you next season. We're gonna have no more live race control. You're getting the scoop right now. So Sexton's gonna be racing. I'm no longer in the booth. I'm gonna be racing. Still gonna be broadcasted by Joe, but it's gonna be Joe and another guy. But yeah, so I'll actually get to experience just how competitive the modified series is this next season. I'm really
Oh yeah,
excited.
it's a blast, man. It's definitely different from the Super Late Model Series, but just as competitive, I think. It's a blast out
As we see, I'm not sure. I guess while I was talking and foaming at the mouth right there, James Barrett must have had a slip up or something because Axum and Ringer got around him, and now they're currently in the hunt of Mr. Willie Everingham.
there. Yeah, I know for these modified, seeing that pink car in your mirrors definitely it can get in your head sometimes.
You wouldn't
We'll
think
see.
a pink car would be quote unquote the intimidator like Dylan Hart, but I promise you that pink car is fast, and it would be
Oh yeah,
it
I
would
think
become
that
a
makes it that
nuisance.
much worse being pink.
Right, exactly. And what Axum's doing right here, I think he's just pacing Willie, trying to get him to make a mistake. And we have another caution on the speedway. It looks like Nolan R. Quinton is the unfortunate driver to bring this caution out, but we'll circle it back and see. Look at that base iRacing scheme. Gets underneath that
Oh
driver a little bit.
yeah, comes together with Barrett just a little bit.
Yep.
Gets a little sideways, but a good job of not hitting anything again. So.
Coffee, you said you've never been in a booth before. You do a great job, man. Shoot, I'm about to see if Joe wants to bring you up in the booth, son.
Oh, I got you, man. No problem. I like to race first, but hey,
That's
if it
me,
ain't a
man.
race, I'll broadcast.
That's me. I mean, I enjoy the broadcasting. I really do. So I broadcast for a Thursday night series, and I'll be broadcasting our Saturday night Super Truck series coming up in 2 weeks, I believe. But so I mean, I would much rather race first, but I do get a kick out of these broadcasts.
Yeah, like I said, I've never done it before, so as of right now, it's pretty fun for me.
They're
I like it.
stressful. So Tuesday nights are pretty easy for me because I just got to call the action. I mean, that's all I got to do. I ain't got to do nothing. I'm just sitting there watching the screen. But when I'm having to push all the buttons, run SDK and stuff like that, that's why we were actually a little bit late switching over tonight because SDK was throwing me fits. And there's a lot of buttons on this screen right here to start mashing. And it does, it's getting easier with time the more I broadcast professionally, but it is still a work in progress for sure.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get into it, just to at least have it so I can, broadcast races here and there. Like I said, I host a lot of races too, so I don't ever throw any leagues or seasons, but I throw up hosted races all the time, all type of cars.
Well, me and Sexton, we're the owners and not the founders of Crooked Line Racing, but we we took over the racing division, and we were just racers coffee. That's what we was. And I mean, it came to the point where we were having 20 cars show up in a Wednesday night late model stock series as the lights go off on the pace car. But we would have 20 cars show up, and then didn't have no more admins. Everybody just got burnt out on it, because it does get burnt out. I mean, I can't tell you how much time I spend on this computer each week. And so, I mean, it came to the point where either me and Josh Sexton had to step up as admins. We kind of just took the role, and man, oh man, it's growing into something much bigger. But there we go. We got lights off, green flag out.
The 87 gets a good jump, pile up a little bit behind them, but they're all straight.
All straight,
Back
no
up
mangle, but
third,
yes, sir.
Clears to Willie Evernham, I believe.
Yep, old Willie. Axum up to P3, man. He likes taking that FiveKings Motorsports money, I'm telling you.
And now, if I was Tanner Jones right now, it's time to go.
Yep. I'm tired of seeing that yellow car up my windshield. It's time to go now. It's time to put that yellow car in my mirror. So.
Yeah, so we could see this heat up right here.
But on the flip side, Coffee, we're knocking on lap 50's door. A 200 lap race, yes, the laps will quick off really fast here. They'll click off. I mean, they're turning 13-second laps, so the laps will go by fast. But with 150 laps still to go, do you think it's best to kind of let Axum pass you and say, hey, go burn up your stuff? I'll see you later on when it counts. That's the strategy. I mean, that's like
I think you did exactly
right.
what
It
you
went up, and just said,
I
hey.
see that as a bad move.
Right. Ooh, our leader gets loose. Yeah,
got saying it might get loose going off into one.
Yes, and got up into the wall right there. That's gonna let Axum got the chrome horn. Axum got the chrome horn a little bit put to him right there. So, and Axum's not a driver you're gonna push around too much. He's very, very vocal. Axum gets a bad rep. There's a lot of people that have told me, and I'll just be straight up. They'll say Thomas Axum will be no good for your league. We brought him in anyways, and Axum's been nothing but a class act to me, and everything I've ever heard about him, I don't believe it, because maybe he's like all of us. We get in that race car, we all change. You know, we all have one go, and that's the win, and that's what you're supposed to have.
Yeah, but definitely. I'm sure I got the same rap with people myself.
Right. I mean, FiveKings Motorsports, Josh and I have been kicked out of leagues, and I'd like to think I'm not a dirty racer, but if there's a hole there, I'm going to take it, and that's the way all these drivers are. That's the way you should be. I mean, we're racing. We're not on the interstate.
Yeah, and that's why I like running with you guys. I race hard, and when you're racing hard, you make mistakes. Here
right. Yeah, absolutely. Irwindale, huh?
People don't even like to race close. Really, they get mad just for you.
Absolutely.
Getting up on them.
Absolutely.
To them, as we have Axum here, putting some pressure on the 87.
And now, folks, I realize I've kept it on the front end of the field. This track is so small, and these leaders are right on top of each other right now. I promise you, we will cycle through the field. But I'm just look at this 87. He is doing everything he can to get away from Axum. But
coming up on some lap traffic right here.
Coming up on Sexton. They're coming up on. Yeah, that's Sexton right there, I do believe. Ooh, I had the hiccups right now. I apologize. Yeah, Joshua Sexton had a 28-second lap, so I think that driver actually went around. It said Josh went to the pits, so
maybe spun down there.
Maybe, yes, absolutely. Josh is showing one lap down. You're right, Coffee.
And he gets out of the way, so we still got
the it looks like
lead and Axum applying pressure.
Looks like
don't count out that 22. He's not far off Axum.
He is not far off at all. I mean, you can throw a blanket over the top three, but just look a little bit further back. Fourth place is right there. That's Willie Evernham. You got fifth. Brad Ringer stole my number. Every time I don't race, I swear he takes my number. Every time. And you got we'll call him Ray Fatty. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Fattaruso,
I believe. Fattaruso.
Hey, you're a poet. Didn't know it. That sounded great right there. Fattaruso. I like it. That sounds right. It looks right. And we got Mr. James Barrett Jr. P7. Bradley Yo, P8, Michael Murray, P9, and Chris Carroll. That's a heavy hitter, man. I feel like I'm second in the points on Monday nights, and I'm second in the points because I'm always chasing Chris Carroll. I can't never get to him, man. He's really
That's
fast.
all
So
of us. That's all of us.
right,
Sometimes.
man. Everybody's chasing that 99 car, but tonight that 99's got looks a little battered in the front end of it. I'm not sure if you can see that on the shared screen or not, Coffee, but
Yeah, definitely. The bumper's a little bent up. Maybe he might
yeah,
have gave somebody a shot or something. Who knows? I doubt it though with Chris Carroll.
going
Probably one
back
of
up
those
to the front.
restarts, if I had to guess.
Yeah, that's what. Well, I know he got involved in like the first incident. We saw him get spun, but I could have swore he took a fast repair. I hate these camera angles here, man. These camera angles they have, they're so low that when they go, it stays so far back, you can just see the haulers. Look at that. That's a terrible camera angle, iRacing. What are you doing?
Yeah,
That's
there's actually a way you can pull up the camera settings and raise them or
yeah.
stuff like that. But you're on probably on mixed, huh?
That's on no. That's TV1. That's their best one they have. TV1 does that. So I've been actually on. That's TV3 right there. That's the one we've been focused on a lot, just because it's a little bit further away when it does that.
Oh, yeah, that's
But
a good one.
but you can see it right. I also like the static shot right here. Watch them. It shows them as they fly by the camera right here.
Yeah, and that top three still real close, and we got fourth, fifth, and sixth real close still. So we got a few bunches of groups on the track.
That's what
Few single cars towards the back.
That's what Joe likes to call them, clusters. If you ever watch the broadcast back, as we see a battle for the lead here, Axel's going to finally try his move. Going to try to bring out 22 of Tanner Jones with them. Tanner Jones drives it in there. Yeah, drove it in there a little too deep. Saw that hole opening, and wanted to make sure he get to the inside of the 87. And we have a caution on the speedway right after Axel takes the lead. It's Tattletale Box is showing me Mr. Brad Ringer went around. Driver number 4. Getting pressure on him behind him. Who is that? The 26 car just gets in there. Way too hot. That's Ray. What'd you say his last name was?
Fataruso.
Fataruso. Yes, sir. Ray Fataruso. Got in there a little hot. And Brad's not going to be a happy camper about that. And going to go a lap down. Saw the pace car pass him right there. Might give him
Yeah,
the spot back. Maybe.
I think that could have been a factor of Brad maybe thinking that Fataruso was going to run the bottom on the apron like everybody
Right.
has
Yep.
been running. Because I know if I was running that outside, I would assume that. So
Right.
I
And
don't
you're going
think I don't think either of them made too bad of a mistake there. Just kind of
to race for the same real estate.
Yep, exactly.
As we see
There's been a lot of these cautions tonight. Just racing incidents. Nobody really out here, causing any issues. So that's good.
right, and that's what we were talking about, having possibly live race control for tonight. But I knew there would be incidents on such a small track, starting over 20 cars. It's going to happen because, like you said earlier, when you're racing hard, side by side, battling with people, it's called a mistake. It's called an accident, meaning you don't do it on purpose, but stuff does happen. And like we said, it's iRacing, man. Net code happens, and people drive over their heads, and it's part of it. It's part of the game. It's what we sign up for.
Yeah, 200 lap race at a short track, no cautions, almost unheard of. So
Right.
It's
Exactly.
gonna happen. So.
Exactly.
But I'm interested to see if Axum's gonna choose inside or outside. I believe he'll probably go inside.
What would you choose here, Coffee? If you're up front, well,
I always like getting the run of the outside and being able to point the car straighter sooner. So you just get more of a run off the restart on the outside. But it all depends on how the racing lineup going into 1 and 2 is going to be.
Especially on these short tracks, because when you're on the inside like that, you're still in the corner basically when you're firing off.
You're still turning your wheel,
right?
You get that outside run next to the wall and then kind of straighten the car out before you go. And
yes, sir.
About to go crack green now.
As the lineup looks like it's all messed up, we should have delayed the green on that one. We had people still coming off pit road there. That's on us. That's my B, as we'll call it. But there's one driver out there that does not care at all. That's Thomas Axon. We got Tanner Jones on the inside of Dominique. Going to try to make it stick this time around.
Yeah, but another battle going on behind them as it looks like the 22 clears the 87, and Evernham clears Barrett.
Yep. So these drivers are
back single file with Bradley O behind them.
wanting to get single filed out, click off some laps. Got Keith Mack coming up behind them. Keith gets a little bit loose right then. So I'm noticing more of the guys getting loose, Coffee. Now you can attest to this. You practice some, but getting loose on the entry more versus getting loose on the
We
exits.
have another caution.
Ooh, we got Chris Carroll went around according to the tattletale box.
Let's see what happened there. But yeah, the corner entries are just getting real twitchy, and they'll snap.
Oh,
Oh,
driver
looks
blinks
like
out. Who was that blinked out?
I'm not sure who that was. Looked like they dove off in there to complete the pass and then didn't complete the pass. So
Yeah, I don't know if that.
unfortunate break for Chris Carroll. Hopefully he saved that fast repair that we were talking about earlier.
I'm not sure if that driver needs to play ball with us anymore or not. That was. I didn't like the look at that, especially because he
Yeah, I'm
blinked
not
out.
sure who that was.
Yeah, I don't.
I know there was two cars earlier that had the iRacing skin.
Yes, there was.
Sure.
I'm not. I can't remember, man. I just went through the lineup too. Didn't find him. He may. He
But
may already
as
left.
Axton, do you want to see cautions right now, or do you want to get a green flag running? Because with the tires, pretty sure they're all got their tires pretty heated up after that run. So I'm sure
Right.
they're liking these cautions right now, handling wise.
So that driver, Kendrick Kyer, was removed from the server. He was just. It wasn't that he did anything malicious right then, but he was
Yeah,
blinking and just. It's just. It's
just
not.
not a smart move, you know.
Right.
Could happen.
Right. Right. Money's on the line. Tempers will start to flare. But you're right. So I recently implemented the new tire model, and I'll be honest, I hate it. I don't like it at all because I don't feel it simulates real life like the old tire model did. And maybe
Not
that's
at
just
all. I think it's very predictable.
right. And
Every
maybe
track kind of wears a lot alike, and that's just
right,
not
right.
realistic.
There's so like you can put these cars on a so Nashville Fairgrounds, my home track, a very abrasive surface. It's known to kill tires, and I mean, yes, you can wear your tires out there, but you can wear them out the same at Hickory. You can wear them out the same at Wilkesboro, and vice versa. Just there's not like you said predictable, but one thing about this tire model is they don't like heat cycles. I mean, they don't like going hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. That wears them out too. So we've seen a couple green flag runs tonight, decent runs, but there has been some cautions to break them up. Meaning these tires have went from hot, cold, hot, cold. So I look from lap about 110 to 120. I think we're going to have a very busy pit road if the caution happens to fall during that time frame.
Yeah, with this being a new track, I'm very interested to see how they wear here. Like you said, it's a new tire model, so it doesn't have as much to do with the track.
I am noticing. All right, man. Dominique Chisholm, Tanner Jones are battling each time, and now we got Willie Evernham trying to get to the inside of Tanner Jones. That's my pick right there. Tanner Jones, 22 on the outside, going against a fellow FiveKings driver, one of the newest drivers to come into FiveKings Motorsports, Willie Evernham.
It looks like Willie is going to complete that pass, so he will be running P3 right now. With
There
the
you have.
87 and Axum in front of him.
There you have it. Made that pass. Made it kind of textbook like too. Didn't really have to initiate any contact. We've already seen that 22 though. If he gets to the driver, ooh, Willie
runs up on the wall a little bit. He keeps it there. Only loses one spot for right now.
Willie did his best coffee impersonation right then, huh?
Oh,
Climbed that wall right then. That's what I call it every Tuesday night when you do race modifieds with us. I was like, you can tell when coffee's going 110% because he's climbing the wall at least once that race, and that's not a knock. That means you're going hard out there, and a lot of times you do it and don't even lose freaking momentum. Like I don't know how you do it. Like you hit that wall and gain on the guy in front of you.
I was just about to say I might not have lost a spot if I did.
You hit that wall and like gain momentum. Like it's insane, bro. Joe mentioned that one time. Hey, we was laughing up here in the booth about it.
I actually broke my axle at the Langley race.
Yikes. Oh,
But
caution. Come on, boys, get it together. Bradley Yo going around.
Oh, I was just about to say Bradley O was having a good run.
Well, it's showing me Chris Carroll here.
Oh, he got the wall just like I was saying.
Oh, did he end up like a turtle? Did he stay on his lid? I'm not sure why it went to
Let's
Chris
see.
Carroll right there. Let's see what
Yeah,
happened.
I said before the race, people were going to start flirting with those outside walls off of each corner. So you see it starting to happen now.
Those tires right there. That's where. Ooh, does he land it? Does he land it?
Hey, he
Very.
did him a favor right there.
Yeah, he got very lucky right there, but
But he
still.
took a toe anyway.
Yep, he
The
still
operator.
chose to take a toe.
Sportsmanship move.
Willie Evernham taking. Ooh, did you see that? Willie only took 2 Mr. Feelgoods. Took right sides only.
That's an interesting move,
Yeah, I don't.
considering I believe somebody else did that this season and had a pretty good outcome.
Axe
So
him.
maybe he, there you go. So maybe he's seen Axum do it and wanted to test it himself.
Let's see if Chris Carroll's car gets jacked up. I think. I think Mr. Carroll's out of house money. I think he's on out of fast repairs, man. Basically, because I've seen him elect to come down pit road 3 times now, and you notice his front bumper's fixed, but that man took a fast repair, and then we saw him get involved in another minor incident a while ago as well. So he may have used the fast repair then when he got caught up in another. Oh, look here. I think what Willie was doing. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, just
duh.
not go a lap down.
Yeah, duh. I should have knew that. Yeah, he's taking his left sides now. I
I
like
made
it.
that mistake one time
Yep.
this season.
Yep.
Took both and went a lap down.
Last night was it last? Where did we race at last night? What track? No, New Smyrna wasn't close last night. There was a maybe it was a week before. I think it was a week before coffee. It was really, really close. If you went in like, I think they were saying in our team Discord, if you went in like 4th or back, you was at risk to go a lap down. So that's something that you gotta watch on these short tracks.
Yeah, the pit crews are not professional pit crews.
Right.
These cars.
Right. I mean,
About you out there trying to change these tires.
exactly. As we go back green, a 2-tire stop right there still took 21 seconds. So that goes to show right there. I'm not sure what the fuel is like either, Coffee, tonight. I have no idea. It's the baseline iRacing set for this track. I'm not sure what the fuel is even like.
Yeah, 200 laps might be a stretch on fuel. It's interesting to see what that's going to be like as we have them single filed out for the top 4. It looks like a little bit of battle going on in that field.
Noticing the driver blinking out a little bit, a little further back. I think that's James Barrett Jr. But it's been a constant up front with your top 3. Thomas Axum now, Tanner Jones, and Dominique Chisholm. They've been your front runners for most of the night.
It looks like Chris Carroll got that car running back pretty good.
Yeah, he's on the move. He's on the move, currently sitting P6 right now, so he's got them eyes looking forward. I want to give an update. See if Joshua Sexton's still out on the track. I'm trying to watch the ticker. I had it on the scroll ticker at the top, but it looked like it was like glitching a little bit. So I'll switch over to this block scroll. It takes a little bit longer to get through the name, so I want to try to see how many laps Joshua Sexton is down. I think he's only 1 lap down, and it's showing me Willie Evernham is a lap down, but that's not correct. Yes.
Yeah, I was interested to see his lap times versus the leaders right now.
Okay, so Willie's last lap by, he was a 13:67. The time before that, Thomas Axum was a 13:47, so 2/10 quicker. That time by, Axum with a 13:48.
It looked like Evernham scrubbed the wall a little bit. Right
okay, so let's try to get a clean lap. So
here we go.
This lap around here, we'll see what the new tires are like. Got a little bit of fresh track in front of him. They shouldn't hamper him at all.
And I knew those fresh tires are going to take a few laps.
Yeah, you're right. There you have it. Willie Evernham, fast car on the track by not much though. You're talking about 300s.
Yeah, so that's interesting to see how he is able to. If one of these cautions comes out, or he gets a little loose in the one, but if a caution comes out and they bunch back up, how they'll be later run after a cycle.
Because whenever they get bunched up like that, instead of trying to chase down a guy in front of you, you start right there with them, and you can start picking them off at bunches then if you do have an advantage. But the only thing I don't like about the decision, you're going to give a guy like Thomas Axum, Dominique Chisholm, Tanner Jones, you're going to give them a better tire advantage if this thing does not go green. If a caution does come, and they elect to take their 4 tires, and they may not even stop for tires, but if they do take their 4 tires, they're going to have a 15, 20, 30 or so on lap advantage over you on fresh rubber. And that's not, you don't want to give Thomas Axum the gun because, I mean, he's going to pull the trigger if you do it, you know?
Very true. With track position may play a factor in that. If they can, even if they're running a little quicker, if they don't have the time later in the race to get back up there with
That's
them,
true, too.
they go either way. So
And if you get back there in the hornet's
they
nest,
even take tires.
right. I'm interested to see what 200 laps are like if somebody elects to not take tires tonight.
Yeah, I think it'll all depend on the length of the cycles, heat cycles.
Yeah.
We got them pretty spaced out right now. Top two running in their own little bubbles. Then behind them, gotcha. Behind them, looks like we have third and fourth with a little battle. Trying to see the names on those guys in third and fourth.
Yeah, so you're starting to see they are starting to fan out a little bit here. And now is when you're going to see, like I said earlier, the talent and the cream is going to rise to the top. Thomas Axiom, P1, Dominique Chisholm. He's led quite a bit of laps out here. Currently sitting P2 with Tanner Jones rolling out P3. Brad Ringer, P4 with Chris Carroll. That's your top 5 runners as they're running right now.
Yeah, and that's the 87 cars. Chisholm, I wouldn't be too uncomfortable in that position. I actually like to run second later in the race.
Right.
I do like that outside on restart, so pretty sure he's pretty content with where he's running right now. To be running that close to Axel, you're doing something.
And I know me personally, I'd rather be the chaser than the chasee. I would much rather be chasing a guy in front of me than have a guy behind me. There's another caution's out on the speedway. Ray Fataruso, or whatever you said his name was. That 26 machine here.
Had Sexton right there behind him.
Oh no, Sexton.
Nope, just another victim of that tire.
Those tires right there, man, they're in a terrible spot. They're in a terrible. Oh, look here. We got a very, 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 very busy pit lane. I mean, there's so many names grayed out. The only drivers I'm seeing that have stayed out right now: James Barrett Jr., Keith Mack, Willie Evernham. Saw him take tires earlier. Frank Barbie stayed out. Josh Sexton. I just heard a driver blow up in the pits. Did you hear that?
I actually have no sound.
Yeah, you got no sound. That's right. Yes, I think.
Was it the 28?
I think it was Ray, the 26.
Oh, okay, 26.
Yeah. Well, the font looks weird. It looks like an 8. But
yeah, I think it's just that bar crossing. I couldn't see.
Right.
But yeah, he's gonna go 2 laps down as of right now. So we have Keith Mack leading the field.
Oh, Keith Mack. I'm gonna pull him up real quick. I'm gonna pull Keith Mack up here real quick.
Yeah, let's talk to him, seeing how he's feeling.
Oh, Keith Mack. This is Alex Coffey and Tanner Marr in the FiveKings Network booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Hey, I know you're all smiles right now, driving the number 55 machine. You feeling pretty good out front?
I am. The car's running good.
Oh, you went down pit road, Keith. You got me so excited. What are you doing?
Oh, man.
No, I'm taking some tires. I already got my gas all set and take a couple tires.
Okay, well, since you're in here, what were your tires like, Keith, after 125 laps of Hickory?
88, now 89. So we had some good tire wear.
Okay.
I was running some good laps. I think my fastest lap of the race was probably in the last 10 laps.
Don't get a black flag right there. Are you good?
Yeah, Keith Mack.
No, we're all good.
All right, good deal.
Tires back on. Just keep with that consistency, and you'll be there for it at the end.
This is a marathon. This is exactly what we do every Tuesday. It's a marathon. We're gonna run just fine.
Right on. That's Keith Mack.
From Keith Mack himself.
Yep, driver number 55, FiveKings Motorsports machine. Good luck to you, Keith.
Thank you, guys. See you guys in about an hour.
Yes, sir.
Hey, he's so confident, bro. He said he'd see us in about an hour. As we see here, he's going really high up there in the marbles. You got to be careful going up high like that. I can't believe Keith had the lead and decided to go in, but put some new faces up front. But the 22.
Track position with Evernham not having
right.
Too much more laps on those tires.
Yeah, that is true too. He didn't
see those top 3 actually pulling away a little bit. So I guess those are guys that had a little bit of heat in their tires, maybe.
Right. Yes. Oh, Willie's gonna climb the wall.
Oh man.
That's gonna let Brad Ringer take over the lead as Willie and Abraham surrenders the lead, but still, luckily, shouldn't have too much damage there. Yes, you gotta be careful with the suspension and whatnot on these rides, but shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, I've seemed to notice on these the left front seems to be a little more delicate than the right front.
That's
So
you're like the third person I've heard ever say that's not been on iRacing. So that's hilarious you said that.
yeah,
The
hopefully it
left
doesn't look to be affecting him too bad.
No, he looks good. But yeah, I've heard it that the left side of the car seems more finicky. Ooh, did he give a little shot to the 22 right there? It was hard to
No, I
tell.
think 22 just kicked out a little bit.
Yeah, it's maybe.
And then we got Axum and Carroll and somebody in between them. That's Barrett in between them.
Barrett's had a pretty solid run. He's shown a lap down, but he has had a solid run tonight. Maybe he got caught up on pit road taking 4 tires.
87 actually went a lap down as well, doing the same thing, and he's led laps tonight. So
87. That was a Chisholm, right?
Chisholm, yes sir.
Oh, you are correct. Did he go a lap down? Did you see it?
Yeah, I believe it said it on the top of the screen.
Yeah, he's sitting P9. Not a lot of guys left out here, and now there's some guys that are trapped laps down, but there's not a whole lot of cars left on the track as there was when we first started this shindig. So we'll watch along the top here, and we'll see. Should be 8 drivers on the lead lap if I'm reading SDK correctly.
Yeah, and I believe that 87 is going to be giving her 110% right now, trying to race.
Yes, sir.
It looks like we have some contact. No caution, but so we'll keep it going.
When the fields start to get a little bit smaller here, as Brad Ringer has opened up the floodgates on these boys out here. Currently almost a second and a half in front of Tanner Jones in second place. We haven't seen the driver check out tonight. We saw Thomas Axum get out a little bit, but not to this lead right here. He almost has a straightaway lead on him. A 1.5 second lead on a track that's a 13-second lap. That is huge.
Yeah, and I wonder if that clean air has something to do with it.
It did in the super lates here. I mean,
yeah, so you see all them back there running the pack of 4 behind them. I think they're kind of stuck there because of the, they're not out in the clean air like he is right now.
Fastest car on the track is Chris Carroll that time by though. No, excuse me, I looked that wrong. Brad Ringer, fastest car on the track. And it shows. I mean, look at the eye test. But don't look now, mama, that bad man's coming. Number 13, Thomas Axum. Slowly but surely picking them off one by one. Going to try to work over Tanner Jones and that number 22. Who was your pick? Who'd you pick? Chris Carroll?
Chris Carroll, which is right behind him. I think
yep.
It goes back to what you were saying with them working together
yep.
to pick people off one by one.
I've talked to both of the drivers off of broadcast, and I've heard them both say that they look for each other if they are in the pack somewhere, and they do work together. And they're not teammates, they're not super friendly. I would actually say they're more rivals than anything. But sometimes your worst enemies can be the person you lean on the most. And they're not enemies, they don't hate each other, but they're competitors. They're both coming out here and they both want to win.
I would say the same thing for me. They're not my teammates or anything, but if I see them on the track, I'm definitely going to try to follow them through just because you're more comfortable racing somebody you know.
Right.
You know you can race close without
right.
Air being made, so.
Like Irwindale, Irwindale, when you were in the super late, you took fresh tires late in the race. You won the race. You was going down so far on, basically down to the apron, right? If I remember correctly.
Yep.
I wouldn't trust anybody else to go down there that night. I even said that in Discord. I was like, dude, there's only one person to let him hang that far, and that's gonna be Coffee. He's gonna go out there and do it, dude. And
oh yeah,
I'd be dang if you didn't go up there and win the freaking thing.
Yeah, that was the most difference I've ever seen this tire model make. Honestly, that night.
It was insane, bro. But it wasn't just, I don't think it was just a tire thing. Like, you had good speed down there in practice. So, when our setup guy built the setup, he told us, he said, you can run the bottom lane. And we were like, no, you can't. He's like, that's how I run this track every time. And we tried it. I was like, man, that's uncomfortable as can be. Like, just uncomfortable. Like, I felt super slow on exit.
Yeah,
but
going off into 3 off that bank was very, very tricky.
I jumped in your cockpit during practice, and you would be super slow in the middle of the corner, but then, man, you got such a run off that it was, I don't know how you were doing it. I don't understand how you were doing it. I mean, we're talking over a good race right now but I mean, Brad Ringer's a second out. It's Thomas Axum at 13, trying to reel that driver back in, trying to get that last to first and get that $25. But yeah, that Irwindale race was crazy.
Yeah, it was a very interesting choice for Axon to make. Me personally, I probably wouldn't have made the choice to go to the back in the beginning just because of the level of competition that was in this race tonight. But the the field has thinned out and looks to be playing in his favor.
Yeah, I mean, that's a risk just for $15 extra. You know, that's not a huge risk. I mean, granted, we get on here to have fun, and I've won a money race that was, I think the pot was like $600. And I told Sexton after I won it, I was like, man, the money was cool, but I just like beating you guys, you know, like that was more fun for me than anything. But I put the money on here to get people that we don't know enticed. They see that on Facebook, they're like, hey, $25, I'll go race. Like James
Yeah.
Barrett, for example, he FaceTimed his buddy and said, hey, there's a $25 race if you want to come run it, you know. But the money don't mean a whole lot to a lot of people out here. It's the bragging rights, because I promise
Yeah,
you.
it's the incentive of
Right. Exactly.
As we see Thomas Axon,
He's there.
A little pressure on that
He's
fourth
there. He's knocking. He's saying, honey, I'm home.
Those new tires seem to be kicking in about now.
So Brad Ringer and Thomas Axon, they pitted on the same lap, 121. Here's an interesting note.
Okay.
Brad Ringer only had a 26-second stop, and we saw it was Evernham took 2 tires with a 21-second stop. So Ringer may not have took 2 tires. I mean, may not have took 4 tires. He may only took 2. Axum had a 35-second stop.
I know I don't usually like to take 2 tires. I know it kind of upsets the balance.
It just makes the car all wonky, the balance. You're right.
But if that's the case, that's what we're seeing here. It looks like Axum's going to peek inside, actually, as he doesn't complete the pass files back in line.
If I'm Brad Ringer here, I'm gonna make Axum. He's gonna work for it. I'm not getting off that bottom. I'm not gonna give that bottom up. He kind of opened the door. He's arcing the corner into 1, and he's driving the racetrack right. But you see what's happening here. He's leaving that door open. Axum, he's gonna see that door crack open. He's gonna kick that door open, and that's what we saw right there. And may bring the 22 with him right here.
But that bottom line going into 1 is such a tight turn. It's hard to get a run down that back.
Yes. Yep. That radius.
3, he looks to be clear of him, and the 22 is looking inside of him now.
So I think those 2 tires, I think it helped Ringer at first. I mean, we saw him, he's the only driver tonight, jump out to a 1.5 second lead. But I think we may start seeing the effects of either I would have to guess he took right side tires if he was that fast and not left sides.
Yeah, but in that case, he has the situation on his hands that Axum had to go back and take those.
Exactly. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Late caution, it might fall into his hands.
Right.
And we see Carroll closing the gap on those.
He is. Carroll does not race these modifieds. I mean, he's done like 4 races with us, and he said his first race with us was that Phoenix money race we did. I think you ran that, didn't you, Coffee? If I remember.
Yeah, I was supposed to, and then I missed the time frame.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
I think it was a little earlier than the usual races, and I wasn't thinking.
So that Carroll told me that was the first modified race he ran in a long time. Like, cause he's been on the service or on iRacing for like 6 years. So, and he told me straight up, he said, man, I come out here and I just get my face kicked in by y'all for the first 100 laps. And he was like, it literally takes me 50, 60 laps before I even start feeling comfortable in the car. And I think that's kind of what we've seen this race. Carroll has had a very up and down race. He qualified second, Carroll did. Saw him getting the incident early, got put back in the pack a little bit, and wasn't really able to muscle his way up through the way he does on Monday nights. And I think that's a product of not knowing the car.
Yeah, and Tanner Jones has also been a very consistent car tonight.
He has been
running top 3 most of the night,
all night long.
So that's a good spot to be in for him. So it's going to be a battle between these 4.
But the thing is, as this field starts to get a little bit smaller, I mean, we got 7 cars on the lead lap now, Coffee. These laps right here, they're clicking off really fast. Axum's not a driver you let get checked out too far on you, because you'll never be able to drive him down. You got to stick with him. You got to keep your finger on the trigger with Axel because
Yep. And this battle right here is not helping them.
not helping him out at all. His mirror is full of Brad Ringer right now, and I don't
Seems
care
he's-
who you are. When somebody's on your bumper like that, on in your mirror like that, you can't help but look at it. You can't help
try
it.
my-
Right.
when I'm in the lead, I might go 25 laps and not look at my mirror.
That's good. That's
I'm
good.
gonna look at it at some point. for
Right.
sure.
See, I can't help it, man. That's just, it's like there's a
It's
magnet
very
up there
tempting.
saying, "Look at me," you know, like. But I mean, look,
You almost just gotta keep it in your peripherals.
I'm noticing Ringer's driving that car in there a lot deeper than what Jones is doing. But you see, he's suffering on exit. He's not getting the exit that Jones is getting. But look, he reels that driver in on entry, and then when it comes to the exit, Jones kind of stretches it back out a little bit.
Yeah, Jones may be trying to play it a little safe on those tires.
Hey,
back and forth
you're,
up
yeah,
a little bit.
yep. You can't back it up too much though. You're gonna have that chrome horn and number 4 car sitting right
Oh,
on your
yeah.
back bumper if you do.
And
He's
just
actually-
high a little
yeah.
bit right there.
I
Maybe
think
let him,
I
no,
think
he's gonna race
I
him.
don't know. He's racing him back. I was gonna say I think he let him by, but it looked like he was racing a little bit. I'm noticing these rotors are really starting to glow too here. That 22's off the pace. Fuel. 22 might be out of fuel.
Oh man.
My pick. Going down pit road. 22's out of fuel, I bet.
Well, that answers your fuel question. I guess they might not have enough to make it.
I heard Keith say in his interview, he said, "I got my fuel. I'm all set, ready to go."
Gotcha. Oh man, but the tough break for Tanner Jones. We're
Yikes.
just talking about how consistent he's been running.
Man, that's a tough break.
And I'll tell you this. I were in a Cup League race on Saturday. It was 267 laps at Richmond. The last 100 laps was a green flag run. I led every lap. Ran out of fuel, taking the white flag.
No way.
Yep. So I know that feeling.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Tanner Jones.
I would need another monitor, bro, because my fist would go through my one in front of me.
Yeah, I didn't play at all the next day.
Yeah, I couldn't. I have zero tolerance for that, bro. That's what we run in. It's a really competitive series on Sunday nights. Winner gets like $600 or something like that, $400. But it's shown on the Pride Outdoor channel on TV, like real TV, you know. And the races this season have turned into fuel mileage races. And I hate. There's nothing worse than going out there on fresh tires and knowing you got to save fuel.
Yep.
It's so stupid. I cry and complain about it every week. And I know my teammates are like, "Tanner, you want to shut up about fuel, bro?" But I hate having to worry about fuel. But yeah, Tanner Jones ran that car out of fuel.
This is a factor here tonight for him. But Ringer's actually closed that.
He
gap a little
has.
bit.
He has.
So we'll see. Maybe those tires have leveled out, or he's been saving a little more.
All right, this time around the track, Thomas Axon with a 1338. Brad Ringer with a 1338. I'm not sure what that third number is. They don't show me, but they're mirrored on lap times there, Coffee.
Yep, it's going to be 14 to go as they take it down the front stretch. Brad Ringer sends it on the apron. Right there.
Yeah, man, he went all the way down there. I'm noticing, so it's kind of hard to see on this camera. Thomas Axum's rotors are really, really glowing. You can see him when he's turning into one. Brad Ringer, it's not looking like Brad Ringer's using a lot of brakes. Maybe we can tell if we go cockpit cam with him, see if his car's going to sit down a little bit.
And that may have been, go back to what you were saying, he was getting in the corner harder than a lot of other guys. He might just be using less brake.
Yeah.
He's turning that wheel hard.
Yeah, he's cranking that.
Let's see how hard Axum's turning his wheel.
Axum is normally fairly smooth. Ooh, as he gets a little herky-jerky with it right then. Axum's cranking it too.
Yeah, he's got some wheel in it too.
Yeah, he's cranking that wheel.
Tires is getting pretty brutal here.
We're going on board with Chris Carroll. Chris Carroll's another really smooth driver, and look at him. I mean,
He looks to be loose over how they look.
Right. I mean, he's going left to right, left to right. Let's keep going back up through here. Keith Mack.
That's a smooth line through that 3 and 4.
Yeah, that was. And then he climbs the wall. Right.
I jinxed somebody.
Commentary curse. It's
Yeah,
real, folks.
Knew it was gonna happen. For
It's real.
Oh man.
As I'm apologize,
Yeah, I apologize to Keith Mack.
our BAM racing videos tend to go. I missed it. That's BAM racing videos on YouTube. If you like sim racing, FiveKings Motorsports, FiveKings Network, we have you covered. But if you like real life racing from some of the most famous short tracks, not just in the southeastern portion of the United States, we're talking nationwide. If you like short track racing, that's BAM racing videos. Brandon Mettler crushing it right now, bro. Closing in on, I think, almost 4,000, 5,000 subscribers at this point, and just absolutely crushing the game. In talks with like Pit Road TV's, done work with Speed 51, all your big Flow Racing, all your big short track racing providers, streaming providers. Has worked with Brandon Mettler at Spam Racing Videos. That's with our 10 to go, but now we're 4 to go. Man, oh man, this race has flown by.
Yeah, Axum has a pretty big lead out there over Brad, but they're coming up on some lap traffic.
I'm tired of sending this person money.
Axum pushes up.
Yes, he got a little tight right then. I'm so tired of sending Axel money, bro. I'm so tired of it, man. I look through my PayPal and that's all I see is Axel. It's Lisa Axel too. It's not even Thomas Axel. It's all jokes, fellas. As we're coming, it's gonna be white flag this time around for the Crooked Line Racing Hickory Shootout 200. That's a long title. Who came up with that? Jeez.
Yeah, if Axum can just keep it straight through this last corner, he's gonna take it home.
He looks golden. He looks golden, Coffee. That's going to be Thomas Axum coming out of turn 4 for your Crooked Line Hickory 200. Brought it home, P1. Last to first, sponsored by FiveKings Motorsports. BAM Racing Videos, thank you for coming on board. MF Racing Designs. And this winning moment, whenever he goes out here and does his burnout, that's brought to you by thebuttkicker.com. Use promo code 5Kings, get you 20% off your entire order. As he's gonna burn it down, young fella, burn it down. I have such a big pet peeve when the winner's doing a burnout like this, and guys that's not within the top 3 come up there and passing. Makes me so mad, bro.
Well, yep,
Hey,
top 3 were
have you
Brad Ringer and Chris Carroll.
Have you ever tried to do a burnout in these modifieds? I'm sure you have.
Yeah, when I won at Five Flags.
Oh yeah. You see, that's what I was about to say. So these cars are typically, the way they're geared, so low because there's only 2 gears in them, folks. Normally they don't burn them down like that, but I mean he did a fairly good job right there. Who was our 3rd place finisher? Chris Carroll.
Chris Carroll brought it home 3rd.
All right, Alex, I'm gonna let you interview P3 and P2, and then we'll talk to the winner afterwards. But for right now, it's Chris Carroll. You're up in the FiveKings Network booth with one and only Mr. Coffee and Tanner Marr. You got a copy?
I got a big fat copy, Tanner Marr.
Well, we saw some trouble early with you, Chris Carroll. What happened early?
I tell you what, those guys beat the balls off me. It took everything I had to come back up through there with a beat up car, but that's all I had.
Hey, well, you did a good job of it, bringing it back to P3. How were the tires a factor? I know fuel ended up being a factor for a few guys. So how'd you manage that?
Well, my car was pushing like a pig after it got beat up. So I was driving it off the right rear, and that thing was screaming, "Please, Chris Carroll, stop spinning that right rear."
Coffee, we saw that. We saw that too.
We called that out when we went in car with everybody. Everybody seemed to be tight except you.
Everybody was. I mean, Carroll. I mean, they were crossing their arms up. They were turning the wheel so much, bro. I mean, right arm was on the left side of the wheel and everything. And you were sitting there fighting that thing in the center of the corner. You started fighting it, not even just exit.
He was trying to get all of it out.
It was a pathetic effort to get up there. I'm telling you.
It wasn't either.
The whole time.
It was very, very entertaining, and the fan and viewer in me wanted to see that late race caution come and see what happened with y'all.
Say that again. I missed that, Tanner.
I said the fan and viewer in me, not the race promoter, but the viewer, wanted to see maybe some late race shenanigans happen with a caution, and then see what happens whenever y'all all 3 got bunched back up. Because y'all are the class of field the last 50 laps of the race.
Hey, I tell you what, if there was a green, white, checkered, I would have thrown that sucker on the top, smoking the tires on the top to see if I could make it. I would have liked to give Thomas a better run there. Try to keep that car clean, but some of them guys, you know.
Right. There was some knuckleheads out here tonight. There was some beating and banging for sure, but I mean, still impressive, Carol. Like I mentioned in the broadcast, you'll watch it back. I said you don't ever run these cars, and it takes you about 50, 60 laps, like you told me, to even get comfortable. So I mean, still, you swung for the fences and you hit it out of the park yet again.
I appreciate it, man. I wish Coffee was out there with us.
Yeah, I can't believe you
Trust
kicked
me,
him.
Coffee, you have way more fun watching from there than we did down there. Them guys were beating us up.
Carol,
I had fun up here tonight. So.
before we get any four-letter words mentioned, because I did see you get beat around a lot tonight. You got any sponsor shout-outs? I know you got one of them on board that we love over here at Crooked Line Racing.
Yeah, we got to thank USAFirearms.com, man. Those guys, they get me around the track. And I got to thank Pit Lizard Performance. And I got to thank my spotter, Larry Bell, who didn't know I was racing tonight. He's not here, but
Oh,
he
come
always
on,
gives me
Larry.
the info I need. And I'm trying to get him out here to drive. I'm trying.
All right,
But,
well, send him my way. We'll get him signed up.
yeah, we'll get him in the supers, and you guys for putting on the broadcast, man. That was as much as I got. I'll tell them they beat the brakes off me. How's that? I won't use any four-letter words, but it was fun trying to come up there and put on a show for you guys.
You always do, Chris. That's
Yeah, you did.
driver number 99, USFirearms.com.
And
Chris
you were
Carroll.
actually my pick to win, Chris.
You was.
Oh man, you jinxed me. You
I
jinxed
know,
me,
I
Coffee.
know. Hey, I jinxed Keith Mack a little worse. So you
Yeah.
got the short end, you got the long end of the straw, we'll say.
Well, you gave him hell. That's all we can do.
But a good run after all that.
Yes, sir. That was fun. Thank you, guys.
All right, that was Chris Carroll, Bright Home P3, driver number 99, USFirearms.com machine. We got Mr. Second Place, fell one spot short, but man, Ringer, you put on a show. You was the only driver tonight to jump out to over a second lead, and you now Axon did it late, but then you drove him down. We're gonna let Coffee have the honors, but P2, Mr. Brad Ringer, you got a copy.
Yep, I got a copy.
Yeah, good consistent run for you tonight, Brad. Exciting to watch. How did tires come into factor with you later in the race?
Well, these things were a pig to start with fresh tires, so with worn tires, you can
Carroll said the same
imagine.
thing.
Yeah, the same word and everything.
I've never heard anybody describe a car as a pig, and I've heard it
And now
twice
we have
tonight.
twice.
Yeah, if I didn't clip the apron on both corners, it wasn't turning at all. Uh, I only took 2 tires on that pit stop, trying to get some track position. I burned them up. I didn't think I could get that. I could pull away like that. When I realized it, it was too late.
Gotcha.
It just started pushing, and I backed up to him.
So Coffee,
Yeah,
we saw that. Like I mean, that's. But Ringer, I know I said Coffee do the honors, but I wanted to hit on. I've already mentioned it. I mean, you said you took 2 tires. We saw it with the pit time. Obviously, you had to only take 2 tires. But man, did the 2 tires on the short run? They were better than 4 fresh tires, wasn't they? I mean, you fired off like a rocket, bro.
Yeah, I took right size. It loosened the car up just enough it could really cut off a corner. Um, it was real nice. So between that and I'd saved enough fuel where I only had to take less than a gallon to finish. So I think I finally figured out some fuel mileage. I suck at that normally.
I was crying about it in the race or in the broadcast, bro. I hate a fuel mileage race, so I didn't know what the fuel was going to be like for you guys tonight. But still, I mean, nonetheless, you brought it home with a gallon to spare. Brought it home P2, Brad. Good to have you back out here racing with us. Hope to have you for season 5, brother.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping to. As always, got to thank Sunshine Trailer Park, Pilsky's Property Service. Typically, I like to thank my teammate for helping me out, but he's at home with one wing clipped after surgery, so he was
Yikes.
zero help like usual. Probably sitting there beating off for the broadcast, but whatever. He's probably having fun.
Probably having more fun than us, huh?
That's no lie. But hey, thanks again for the host. Fun race, guys.
Absolutely,
Good
Brad.
job tonight.
That's Mr.
Consistent
Ringer.
run.
He stole my number tonight. Number 4, Brad Ringer brought it home P2. One spot short, but man, oh man, he had good speed. And we saw him take those 2 tires. And like I said earlier, he was the only driver that actually checked out on the field for a little bit. But it was all none and void because it's him again. It's Axum. He is like I feel like he's a broadcaster at this point as much as I talk to him. Axum, this is Tanner Marr, Alex Coffey in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Do you ever get tired of taking FiveKings Motorsports money?
No, I love it. I love coming out and racing with the guys.
What I'm going to do, Thomas, I'm going to block you on Facebook so you don't see when we have these races. We got to let somebody else win these money, buddy. I mean, you're just taking all our money.
I see it all over the iRacing and saw the hosted session. We had some non-crooked guys in there, and they were up there with me.
Yeah, so that's what I want to talk to you about. So, Dominique Chisholm, I do believe is his name. I've raced with him a lot in officials, more open side of stuff. But man, he was really fast. Got out front, led some laps. Granted, you did take the first challenge, so congratulations also on that. Let's don't forget that. But then also that Tanner Jones guy, I've never seen him before, but he seemed like he was pretty fast. Brad Carpenter. So you did have some competition up front tonight, or Brad Ringer, excuse me.
Yeah, Tanner Jones, if I know correctly, he's used to be a legend car driver. He's a younger guy. On the sim, and man, them two actually made me feel a little uncomfortable. Like just because I was up front, they didn't just let me walk away with it. Some runs I got a little bit more of a gap, but
Right.
so some of them runs they were beating on me, and I was looking in the mirror more than I was looking out the windshield, keeping me on my toes. So shout out to them guys, man. Hope they see that this is a league Tuesday nights. Come spread it up and get some more cars there on the weekly league races.
Absolutely.
So I asked him, I got a question for you. With everybody in practice being within a tenth of each other, I think the top 10 or so, did that make you debate taking the first to last challenge, or did you know you were going to take it off rip as soon as he said it?
Well, I didn't know it was open qualifying, so I got out of my chair when I turned
Hey,
around. I
hey,
see
me
the cars
neither.
on the racetrack.
Me
I
neither. I
had
didn't know it was open qualifying either, and I set the session up.
Yeah, I immediately turned around and got to the sim, and I see Chris is already on the pole, and last 50, I was second, so I thought I was immediately out of the out of that chance. The last 15 seconds, they give you an extended 15 seconds, and I hit my lap time and just beat them.
Wow.
And, I wanted that back to front challenge.
That's
Gotcha.
That's hilarious. You said you didn't know it was open qualifying because the guy that set the freaking session up didn't know it was either. That was on him. But we talked about tires today, Thomas. Obviously they played a factor. Everybody took tires, but could you have went out here tonight and ran 200 laps and still pulled it off, or do you think tires helped you out that much where you got the win, or you think your talent alone could have helped you? And this, I'm not trying to be like egotistical here, but you are fast. I mean, look, you just won the championship. Was tires a huge advantage tonight?
Tires definitely would have made a difference. If there was more cars at the end there, I would not have pitted yet. I definitely would have stretched it up more because that's how much tires meant to me.
Okay.
Just the extra grip off the corners. But coming down to just that, so many people I knew coming in early. Fuel came into factor too. That's kind of why I pitted because I didn't want to. We only had like 40 laps left at 120, and there was 60 laps to go. And I knew if it wasn't a yellow, I wouldn't make it on fuel. And that's what happened to Tanner Jones. He was.
That's what we thought. That's what we thought.
Yeah,
I
asked him. I was very curious. He sputtered right out, ran out of fuel. Tires definitely were a huge factor.
Right on. Well, shout out to Tanner Jones. I mean, for sticking it out after running out of fuel. That's a big alt F4 for me, Bubba. If I'm running up front right there and I throw it away over something like that, I'm out of the sim. I'm going to do something else. But it ain't about me tonight. It's about Mr. Axum again. Got him $40 here tonight. Won the Crooked Line Racing Hickory Shootout 200. Gonna be back for a Hickory 300. That's super late models if you're interested. $10 to enter. All the money from that goes to the prize pool. We're not keeping a single cent from it. It's going to go back to the drivers. But for tonight, Thomas Axum brought it home P1. Last the first challenge, sponsored by FiveKings Motorsports. But before we end this thing, give me that laundry list of sponsors that helps you make that 13 car go so fast each and every week, Mr. Axum.
I'll just shout out to you guys. Coffee up in the booth tonight, taking a place for Joe tonight for the fill-in race. And Tanner putting on the broadcast. Love going back and watching these, man. It's one of my favorite things to do. Then just you putting on this event. just a quick heads up, a few days or 2 days heads up, and we had 30 guys in there. Just had a couple meatballs, but once we weeded that out, turned into some good racing. So shout out to you for putting this whole thing on. Bernier's Liquors, RKM,
Yep.
and Studio 10 Designs.
Right on, right on. RKM, I'm not even supposed to say it. That's Ryan Coons Motorsports Setup Shop. Yes, we're sponsored with McConey Setup Shop, but we want everybody to eat in this sim racing adventure. So that's Ryan Coons Motorsports. You got a promo code or anything, Thomas, for him?
He does not.
Okay.
Just working on dirt this season. Just working on dirt to get on.
Okay. So they're adding dirt to RKM?
Yeah. He usually just does the 5 main short track cars, and now he's looking
Yep,
to
yep.
expand it.
And I'll be completely straightforward and honest. Some of the tour mod stuff that I've ran RKM, I haven't ran much late model stuff, but the tour mod stuff is solid. I mean, it's just as good, if not better, some weeks, and that's just the way setup shops are. I mean, it all comes down to driving style and preference. But nonetheless, Thomas Axel, Bright Home P1 tonight. Thank you, brother, for coming out. I hope to see you for season 5, and you should be having a butt kicker coming your way pretty soon.
Yes, sir. Super excited. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Coffee, we're going to wrap it up here tonight for the Crooked Line Racing Hickory 200. It was a shootout for sure. Saw some beating and banging. Chris Carroll said he got beat around. Car drove like a pig. Brad Ringer even said that. We learned a new terminology for these cars here tonight.
Yeah, we did, but it was a good one.
So,
wish I could have been a part of it, but
yeah,
hey,
I
maybe
know.
next time.
Freaking Sexton,
Maybe
bro,
next
kicked you out.
Yeah.
Who does
I'll
that?
have to ask him about that one.
Alexander Sire, if you're watching this, which I know you're probably not, but if you're watching this, I'm sorry, folks, for airing out dirty laundry, but you shouldn't still be here. We're 2 hours in, probably. Alexander Sire, if you join any of our races, you're going immediately. You have burnt your bridge here, brother. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry. I hate that it had to be like that. We gave you every shot we could. Didn't work out. But Coffee, before we hit this stop stream, final thoughts on tonight's race.
It was a good one. I think we learned a lot about this track with it being new, especially with these cars. So we learned it gets tight in the center. That was pretty much everybody's story tonight. So
Well, there you have it. On behalf of FiveKings Motorsports, Crooked Line Racing, McConey Setup Shop, BAM Racing Videos, Raise Energy, Savage Edge Apparel, FB Sim Racing Button Box. There's a laundry list. Building Blocks Child Care Center. On and on and on. Anybody that makes FiveKings Motorsports go. Anybody that makes Crooked Line Racing go. We thank y'all for supporting us and believing in us and trusting us to carry your logo and carry it with pride and bring nothing but goodwill to your name and logo and your brand. Thank y'all. It's been Tanner Marr, joined by special guest tonight, Alex Coffey. I made a mistake, kicked him out on accident. We've been here for a long time. We're closing up shop. We'll be here tomorrow going live again. But for tonight, we're done. Thomas Axon, Bright Home P1, Brad Ringer P2, Chris Carroll P3, Keith Mack P4, William Evernham round your top 5. But other than that, we'll see you.